body horror. When it's done well, it will absolutely make your skin crawl and your stomach turn. The thing that makes body horror so mind-meltingly mortifying is they remind us that some fates are worse than death. After all, sometimes a long eternal sleep sounds quite appealing, especially on those mornings when I'm hugging the toilet bowl after a night on the sambucas and I've got to go to work in 30 minutes. But living to see your body mutilated beyond recognition, slowly twisted into a deformed man-shaped mess, well, anything has got to be better than that. There have been some fantastically freaky body horror movies over the years, but the majority of them are smelly turds. So when I heard about The Substance, a sickening but clever body horror with Demi fucking Moore, well, let's just say I was skeptical. And then there were some people who were tipping her for an Oscar. But you know, in addition to being a sadist, I also like to indulge in a little bit of masochism from time to time. So I thought, what the hell? And you know what? This movie is actually very good. And in my opinion, Demi Moore's best movie. Yeah, the bar is not exactly set very high for this, but The Substance is a gruesome, bloody, and seriously disturbing black comedy. It's a razor-sharp satire that pokes fun at Hollywood and those celebrities who will do just about anything to stay on top in an industry with the moral ethics of an Epstein air pilot. If an actor or an actress gets too old, then they are tossed out onto the scrap heap like yesterday's jam. This is something Demi Moore knows only too well. Anyone watching movies in the 90s will remember her as one of the world's most famous actresses. She had the world at her feet. And then before you can say Gina Davis, her movie career was nosediving off a cliff. It's been a regular theme in Hollywood. Older actresses find their roles dwindle as they get older. As a result, movie stars will do just about anything to stay youthful and relevant. The Substance follows the story of Elizabeth Sparkle, but her career lost its shine a long time ago. The movie opens with a clever time-lapse of the life of Elizabeth's Hollywood star on the Walk of Fame, starting with the glitzy celebrity and paparazzi unveiling, and then we watch as the years roll by. The wording on the star fades, cracks appear as it is battered by the elements and spilled fast food. Like her Hollywood star, Elizabeth's career has also gone pear-shaped. The only gig she's got left is hosting a tacky aerobic show, and now she's on the verge of losing even that. During an ill-fated trip to the Kazi, she overhears the show's slimy producer slagging her off, saying that she's past it, that he's on the lookout for a younger model to replace her. She sees an advert for a job in the newspaper. She stumbles into depression and crashes her car, having become distracted by her image being ripped from a billboard. While she's recovering at the hospital, she breaks down and a young nurse takes pity on her. He sneaks her a flash drive which advertises The Substance. It promises Elizabeth a chance to become a better, younger, and more beautiful version of herself, a chance to relive former glories. And before you can say Requiem for a Dream, she's shooting herself up with a big fuck-off needle and a questionable-looking fluid. Her back splits open, and bursting forth from this gruesome vagina comes Sue. She's everything Elizabeth wants to be, young, perky, and attractive. Not only that, she comes pre-programmed with expert building renovation skills and a medical doctorate in performing spinal taps. Predictably, she waltzes straight into Elizabeth's old job. The only trade-off is that Sue can only exist in the world for 7 days before she must switch back to the older Elizabeth. It's pretty obvious where this story will end up. You know, it's only a matter of time before this Faustian deal with the devil goes horribly wrong. Only a matter of time before the younger Sue is seduced by the bright lights of Hollywood and will flush her older self down the toilet. The whole thing reminds me of the portrait of Dorian Gray, but instead of keeping a painting in her attic, Sue keeps a rapidly decomposing version of herself hidden away in a blackened room behind her toilet. It's all depressingly dark and sinister. It's also morbidly fascinating to watch as Sue takes advantage of Elizabeth. She takes more and more, and with each transaction Elizabeth's body transforms. It becomes more crooked, more grotesque. You actually start to feel sorry for Elizabeth. Perhaps one of the most powerful scenes in the movie is when Elizabeth is getting ready to go out for a date in an attempt to get her life back on track. However, Elizabeth becomes increasingly dissatisfied with the reflection staring back at her. She changes her clothes over and over, reapplying her makeup and also refixing her hair. The sad thing is she looks great, and you're willing her to walk out of the door, to be happy with the way she is, to walk away before the young devil takes everything away from her, before it is too late to turn back. Inevitably, Elizabeth doesn't go on the date, and she switches back to Sue, who continues her demolition job on Elizabeth's body. It's a clear and obvious allegory for the overuse of cosmetic surgery amongst celebrities. It starts with that one procedure, but rarely stops there. The relationship between the two main characters is very entertaining. Elizabeth flits between rage, desperation, and adoration for her young doppelganger, but Sue has nothing but contempt for Elizabeth, immediately creating a secret room to store her body so she doesn't even have to look at her anymore. She doesn't even bother putting a couch in there. What a bitch. There's lots to like about The Substance. Some of the acting is first class. Margaret Qualley excels as the vacuous and self-centered devil bitch. Dennis Quaid is revolting as the seedy producer, and he positively revels in channeling his inner Vince McMahon. But the absolute star of the show is Demi Moore. It's a brave project to take on. She shows she's not afraid to poke fun at herself. She has lived and experienced everything Elizabeth has gone through. She's experienced the highs of Hollywood, and she's undergone cosmetic surgery in an attempt to prolong her career. Some of the cinematography is fantastic. The long red corridor in the TV studio looks like something straight out of The Shining, and other parts of the movie make you think you're watching an Eric Pritz music video. The ending of the film is also very good. It was very satisfying to see Sue get her comeuppance when even she finds the need to resort to the substance. I also thought the scene where the Elizabeth Sue mutant attends the event was very clever. The way she is mocked and attacked, although clearly exaggerated, this is something that occurs in the real world when celebrities take cosmetic procedures too far. Although I enjoyed The Substance, there is a part of me that wonders what it would have been like if they had made the movie darker. They could have made Elizabeth's physical appearance even more horrific. Some of the creature effects do look a little bit comical, and it reminded me of watching a Roald Dahl film. Also, I think it would have been more disturbing if Elizabeth had been semi-conscious while she was locked away in the toilet, if she had been aware of what Sue was doing to her, if she had pleaded with her to stop while she was still paralysed and unable to stop it. Something else that would have been cool is if the relationship Sue had with the man in the apartment had been explored further. It would have been creepy if we had seen more of him in the apartment, completely unaware of the dark and sordid secret that was kept entombed behind the wall of the toilet. I also think the corruption of Sue was a bit rushed. She hooks up with a guy, and that's the thing that pushes her to break the rules and screw over Elizabeth. I also didn't understand why the mutant suddenly started spraying gallons of blood everywhere at the end of the movie. She literally redecorates the whole building. I'm sure there's some sort of symbolism here, but I have no idea what it was. I don't know if it was an ode to The Shining or something, but to me, it all seemed a bit random and was a bit over the top. All in all, though, I love The Substance. It's a grim and despicable horror movie, full of shocks and unsettling moments. But perhaps the most terrifying thing about this movie, and the thing that should keep you up in the middle of the night, is that if there were something as terrible as The Substance in the real world, there would definitely be people out there who are so desperate, so delusional, that they would end up taking it.